It's Breaking the News with Des Clark.
And this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. With me this week are some of the finest comics on the scene. On my right, we have Mark Nelson and Alison Spittle, and facing them are Chris Forbes and Janie Godley. In the news this week, a committee of MPs has said that they cannot comprehensively conclude if a PPE company linked to lingerie tycoon Michelle Mone was treated differently than other fast-track firms. An NHS spokesperson said the gowns were the right size, but they don't normally come with a lacy trim and a matching garter. The army is trialling battery-powered mountain bikes that enable soldiers to approach the enemy in silence. At least they thought it was silent until the enemy heard somebody shouting, "Keep going, Peloton, you've got this!" And a barge that will house asylum seekers under government plans to cut the cost of housing has docked in a Dorset port. The move to house asylum seekers on a barge has been met with mixed feelings, not least from Rosie and Jim, who've been given 2 weeks to clear out. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News Round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline.
Before we start, cast your minds back to last week's episode when Diz had said that they had originally planned to discuss the allegations surrounding an unknown BBC presenter now known to be who Ed Ward's been involved in the explicit photo row. The production team decided to draw that end of its story and carried on with other stories elsewhere. This week, however, involves yet another explicit photo row surrounding the GB News presenter Dan Wootton. However, since The Sun and the Daily Mail are investigating the allegations against him, despite that he's still on air with the right-wing propaganda channel without Ofcom forcing them to take him off air, we're unable to comment on the matter at this time. You'll find out more about this over on the BBC News website or, unbelievably, by switching over to Gardener's World over on BBC Two. Anyways, back to the Broken News Round.
So Mark and Alison, can you tell me what this is all about?
Earlier this week, Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer confirmed Labour would keep
the Australian state of Victoria
if it wins the next election. Scottish Labour's deputy leader Jackie Baillie says that the party north of the border remains opposed to
the 2026 Commonwealth Games. The First Minister, Hamza Yousaf,
says it's utterly shameful that Labour
was committed to finding a solution.
Mark, go on then, try and decipher it. What do you think our first story is?
So this is our Prime Minister in waiting, Keir Starmer. He plans to keep the Tory policy of only allowing child benefit for 2 children. So that third one, got to pay for it.
Well done. It is indeed the news that Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer has doubled down on his decision not to scrap the 2-child benefit cap. He faces pressure from Scottish Labour leader Anna Sarwar and other senior party figures to roll back from his position on the policy. Members of Scottish Labour are keen to see the 2-child benefit cap dropped, especially after seeing what it's done to the Bruins. Oh, Mark. Well, you got the right answer. So, Keir Starmer trending on social media because of this. How do you think he's been faring this week?
He's such a wishy-washy. Just admit you're basically the Tory. Like, the Tories have gone so evil now that he is just the old Tory. He's like diet Tory. Like, I can't believe it's not Tory. But, just admit it. He's just like, you know what? Keir Starmer is the human equivalent of that soggy piece of cloth you get under mince. Just like, what's it for? Just...
Alison, what about it then? How do you think Keir's been getting on this week?
Well, not great. Like, there's been a hashtag of Sir Kid Starver, and which would say to me not the best. And also, like, Keir Starmer is Prime Minister in waiting, right? But the Prime Minister he's waiting to be is John Minor, which is a lighter version of John Major. And they say they have to make tough decisions. To make actual tough decisions would be to tax the rich, the people that give money to your party. What starving children need to do is create a think tank and lobby group. And then maybe edit some newspapers, and then Keir Starmer.
It might be all right.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've seen what seems like a split between the Labour parties north and south of the border. Are you surprised to see Scottish Labour taking a stand against the UK party?
It's really disappointing that some Scottish Labour voters are giving it, well, you know, you shouldn't have more than 2 children. I'm married into a Catholic family. I only have 1 child because I don't breed well in captivity. I'm not having 2 ains.
But obviously we're talking about Sir Keir Starmer here, who's been criticised for U-turning on certain policies. But let's find out how honest our panel are as we do a little quick-fire question about the times that we've changed our mind.
Me and my brother were at Tea in the Park. We agreed that we would both go and get a tattoo. It's the first time we'd ever went. We were both quite drunk. My brother went first into the tent, and he was going to come out, show me his, and I was going to go in. But when he came out of his tent, he didn't have a tattoo. He had his nipple pierced. Oh. And I thought, I'm not going to go in there. I don't want to ask for a tattoo and come out with, you know, God knows what.
I mean, it's Tea in the Park. Definitely hepatitis.
A couple of weeks ago, I had a day out organised with my pals where we were going to go and celebrate one of my pals' birthdays. We were going to go and watch the football and spend a day in the afternoon in the pub. And then my wife had forgotten about this and said that we were going to the cinema with the children. And I said, I've already got this other thing. And she said, well, it's up to you. And that, Des, was when I changed my mind and realised I really wanted to see Super Mario Brothers. So...
Great film, even better decision. Right, over to you, Chris and Janie. What was the other story we were after?
I think it's Australia saying no to the Commonwealth Games.
Hang on, that is the right answer. Yes, the 2026 Commonwealth Games are in doubt after the Australian state of Victoria cancelled its plans to host due to budget blowouts. The state premier said the projected cost had now tripled and become well and truly too much for the state to bear. In the search for a new home for the Games, First Minister Humza Yousaf has said he is willing to consider proposals for Scotland to host at least part of the Games in 2026. Of course, the Commonwealth Games, often described as the friendly Games, which explains why they've not been held in London since 1934.
That's engaging.
Well done for the right answer, Janie. Were you surprised then to hear that Victoria had pulled out of hosting the Commonwealth Games?
It looks like it's really, really expensive. So they've just went, we don't have the money for that type of shenanigans.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the words they use, but I'm making it up. And I think that what they should do is just downgrade the games into like old-fashioned games like Kirby, hopscotch, and kick the can, trapdoor runaway.
Alison, what are your thoughts on it? Are you surprised to hear that Victoria has pulled out of hosting the Games?
Yeah, to hear that Victoria's pulled out of something, it felt to me like a Spice Girls reunion. You know, where was she those years ago?
Mark, what do you think about this? Are you surprised to hear then that Victoria pulled out of hosting the Commonwealth Games?
Well, I've not really been keeping in touch with the Commonwealth Games and stuff. So when I first read the headline, I thought it was a woman Victoria had pulled out of hosting it. And I was like, I'm not surprised. Like, you can't host the Commonwealth Games in a house. If she's got one toilet, you can't have the Zimbabwean weightlifting team all using one bath.
Well, Chris, what do you think about this? Obviously, Victoria have backed out of it. Do you think Scotland should step in now and host the Games?
Well, I mean, we've still got all the stadiums and plenty of tracksuits, certainly, and there's essentially just been tumbleweeds blowing through this £1 million velodrome, so I don't think they would have expected it to be that, but I'd like to see us rehost it just so they could say, see, we told you that it would get used again. Just happens it's for the same event.
Maybe that's it. That is the legacy project we're talking about. Alison, what do you think? Do you think this is our moment? Should Scotland step in and host the Games?
Well, as an Irish person, I just think the Commonwealth is none of my business anymore. And yeah.
Those that aren't aware, by the way, what the Commonwealth is, it's like parts of the British Empire that still have Stockholm Syndrome.
I had an idea.
Go on, Janie.
I think because you know how you get the billionaires that keep on doing like really risky things with all that money. I think we should just get all the billionaires together and give them really risky things today, like chase them through Glasgow Green with Alsatians. I think we should adapt the Commonwealth Games into really dangerous things for billionaires today because they don't know what else to do with their money.
I don't care if you're Elon Musk. Yeah.
Imagine him in Postal. Oh. All the shell suits chasing them, all the all the static electricity
Friction,
coming after them. Aye.
I think the Commonwealth Games should always be held in Britain because all the participating countries were part of the British Empire. So it was a way for us to give back all the things we've stolen from them in small increments of gold, silver and bronze.
It was indeed the mash-up of UK Labour's policy and child benefits and the Aussie state of Victoria pulling out of the 2026 Commonwealth Games. And at the end of that round, the teams are all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, legendary broadcaster Cathy McDonald and actor and writer Manjot Sumal. So, Chris and Janie, what do you think Manjot is on about here?
So while I may find it a little bit strange that people are coming over and doing this, it is good for our arts community. It's also slightly crazy how these characters with their outlandish outfits are like the superheroes for the British economy with what they do.
Probably something to do with the kind of UK music tourism boom.
That is indeed the right answer. A total of 1.1 million people came to the UK from overseas last year to attend a concert, according to a recent report. Figures released by industry body UK Music suggest that music tourism contributed £6.6 billion to the economy. Artists like Harry Styles, Stormzy, Dua Lipa and Sir Paul McCartney helped to bring people into the UK last year, so Suella Braverman had them arrested. Why do you think people want to come to the UK for live gigs?
I'm not sure. I like to think it's just that tales of the wonderful atmosphere at UK concerts and gigs have travelled far and wide, and people come over here thinking, I can't wait to be standing in a group of people singing, here we, here we go, whilst a tumbler of warm, dehydrated urine smacks me in the back of the head. I must go there for that experience.
How was Transmit then?
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good. Jeannie, maybe it's something we don't recognise often enough, the live entertainment industry in the UK.
I was never a fan. We used to have live music in our pub and it was just a really, really old man who fell every week and had a different plaster. I'm not joking, Mark. And another man with a cummerbund. And they used to sing, if I could, I'd like to be a big boobica every single week. And I'm like, can't you just play the jukebox? Well, I don't get live music.
I love live music. I go to concerts all the time, and I've been to concerts in other countries, and they're boring.
Yeah.
Like, people here are properly let loose and let go. You know, like I was walking around about Hampden after, Murrayfield after the Harry Styles gig, right? And I saw a woman, right, urinating, eating chips, and renewing her car insurance at the same time. Where else do you see that?
Obviously, we've got Mark and various others are huge music fans. Let's find out about our panel. Alison, what about you? What's the most effort that you've put into seeing someone live?
So when I was a teenager, I watched Morrissey 21 times live. I was obsessed with him. And what he would do is he would throw a shirt into the crowd. I've been determined to get it as a teenager. And one day he threw his shirt in and I just locked onto the sleeve with my jaw and like a dog and hung from it. I had a 55-year-old man elbow me in the face to try and get this shirt off him. Then I would bring it home and then I was like, what am I going to do with this shirt piece? So I just sniffed it and it's lost its sheen the past few years. So he's kind of ruined it for me. You know?
I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wears now, Brian.
Brilliant. The booming UK music tourism is indeed the right answer. Well done, Chris and Janie. It's now to you, Mark and Alison. What do you think Kathy is talking about here?
At the root of this story is a very serious problem, and people are sick to the back teeth of it. Essentially, we're talking about the difficulty of filling vacant posts. Now, in order to get seen, people have to travel miles just for pain relief, and that's the truth.
Oh, very clever, Kathy. Alison, lots of brilliant clues in there. What do you think the answer is?
I suspect it's about the shortage of dentists that we have.
I think you're right. Well done. Great clues from Kathy. That is the right answer. It is a story from the Cowal Peninsula where patients are struggling to access NHS dental care. The area's last remaining provider in Dunoon has been taken over and will no longer offer NHS treatment. This has led to long journeys for locals who have to travel for hours to access an NHS dentist. Yes, an NHS dentist is now as rare as hen's teeth, which coincidentally is what some Scots are now having to use instead of dentures. Is it true for you then, Alison, what Kathy's talking about? Are you having trouble getting to the dentist?
Yeah, it is a problem for a lot of people. I haven't been to the dentist in years. I just keep thinking I'm going to get rich one day and get myself turkey teeth. Which, when someone mentioned turkey teeth before, I thought they were actual turkey teeth. Then it was explained to me that they went to Turkey to get their teeth. So I'm kind of playing the long game.
What do you think about this then, Mark? Have you had trouble getting to the dentist?
No, I have massive teeth. Dentists love me. My teeth are very much like the Forth Road Bridge getting painted. When you finish cleaning one, you've got to start it again at the end. So yeah, I've got no problem because they know that's going to take tons of work. So I've put dentist kids through university.
What about you, Janie? There's obviously a problem getting access to a dentist. Have you had any trouble getting to the dentist?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, my front veneer broke and I kept it and I glued it back in myself. You can see it there.
Are you
I
kidding?
put super glue and just stuck it on. Yeah, I was bored and tired. And I phoned the dentist and said, they've got a hole in the back of that teeth and my front veneers came off and I've glued it. So he filled it without a jag because I'm brave. And then I said, what about this front bit that I glued? And he went, that's really good. You should get a wee job as gluing teeth. So it's still there. I glued it myself.
It's at this point, as the host of the show, I do have to remind everyone in the audience and listening at home, do not try this at home. Go to Janie's house. You'll get it for nothing. That is something incredible. So obviously we've got a shortage of dentists. That's the big problem we're hearing. How would you solve the dentist shortage?
I'd like to make a kind of game out of it. You know, like when your adult teeth first come in, right, we should all have a little bit of precious metal implanted into every single one of our teeth, okay? And then throughout the course of your lifetime, it's like a game between you and the dentist. If you let one rot or go bad and they have to go out, they get to keep the little bit of precious metal. But if you get to keep all your own teeth at the end, you've got this kind of, as a retirement, you get to take all the precious metal out and trade it in for some sort of... This is just a working theory.
Yeah, so you've got basically like a lot of money in your mouth.
Yeah, like a little bit of silver and gold, you know, and then you can trade it in at the end of your life.
Your money where your mouth is.
Oh my God, Des, come on.
We've got a name for it.
Why? This is it.
Yes. Who do we write? Dragon's Den. Let's get it done.
I would introduce conscription. I believe everyone in Britain has to at least give 2 years to dentistry. Even Harry Styles, right? Especially Harry Styles. I would love to have Harry Styles as my dentist. Because I just want his hand in my mouth.
There probably is a follow-up to that, but I don't know if I want to say anymore. There we go. The dearth of dentists in Dunoon is the right answer. 2 points goes to Mark and Alison. You're listening to Breaking the News on BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Mark and Alison, you're first this time. Who is this?
It is a huge honour and a privilege to be here in our Scottish Parliament representing the good folk of Carrick, Cumnock and Doon Valley, a wonderful constituency featuring some of the most beautiful rural and coastal scenery in Scotland.
It is SNP Minister Eleanor Whittam.
It is the news that SNP MSP Eleanor Whittam has apologised after leaked WhatsApp messages showed her insulting colleagues. The Drugs Policy Minister described a fellow party member as a cold fish in messages published by the Daily Record newspaper. She also criticised other colleagues, a Tory MSP, and a Holyrood discussion on the Queen's Jubilee. In a statement on social media, Ms Whittam apologised, saying the comments were not acceptable. And I suppose, on the upside, it is better of the SNP, if you're a member, to hear a colleague say she's a bit of a cold fish, as opposed to, can I leave something in your driveway? Just look after it for a week, see what happens.
It's interesting that she called someone a cold fish after the last two leaders have been salmon and sturgeon.
Now, making sense, Mark. Perfectly reasonable explanation. Alison, what do you think of Eleanor Whittam's apology?
I think she shouldn't have said sorry. I think she should have apologised in a way that goes, I'm sorry that there were some absolute rats in my WhatsApp group.
Jeannie, what do you think about this? Is it ever okay to slag off a work colleague?
I think everybody in every job sits either backstage or in the tea room and going, would you make Margaret? Would you make her? Thinking that it's all right to bring in cupcakes when she knows that I'm on a diet. It's all right for her. She's thin, but no. And her man, that's no real hair. Proper gossipy helps. I think it helps release the tension. You should see what we've seen in WhatsApp about you.
I know. Chris, what about yourself? Do you think it's ever okay to slag off a work colleague?
It's more than okay. It's a necessity. I think the minute you find yourself being not insulted by a colleague, that's when you should worry. You know, you insult and slag off the people you like. Mm-hmm. You know, if I was like, oh, Mark, yeah, big scally. But then if there was John over there and I just went, all right, John. You want to be slagged off. It's a term of endearment.
Maybe it is part of life, especially here in Scotland, but have we ever been caught gossiping at work?
Not at work, but this shows you the dangers of WhatsApp. We were on a stag do once, and there was one guy that we weren't really getting on with, and a splinter group was set up that was called such and such as a such and such, and I mistakenly added him.
Is such and such still a pal then?
No.
And there we go, that's that. Yes, SNP Minister Eleanor Whittam is the right answer. 2 points to Mark and Alison. Right, Chris and Janie, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
I thought it would be really exciting and really scary because, you know, there's a lot of ways to do it wrong, but if you did it right, it could be huge.
Oh, yeah. It's Margot Robbie.
Great answer, and it's the right answer. Yes, indeed, Margot Robbie is in the news this week with the release of a highly anticipated movie, Barbie, in which she plays the titular doll. The film comes out amid an actors' strike that saw several major Hollywood stars down tools and even walk out of premieres. Margot Robbie said she was standing by the strike, and to celebrate, Mattel are releasing a limited edition Strike Barbie, complete with a burning oil drum and a placard saying, "Kill the scabs." Read that one, yeah. So Margot Robbie was the voice that we heard there. Janie, are you looking forward to seeing the Barbie movie?
I just love the name Margot Robbie. She sounds like she comes from Govan, doesn't she? I am super looking forward to it. It's got fabulous Scottish actress Sharon Rooney in it.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I'm looking forward to it on the Sharon Rooney front as well, when I came out of college after doing acting and performance, one of the earlier jobs I had in this kind of industry was in TIE, which is Theatre and Education, where you travel around schools with a very cheap set in the back of a white transit van, and you do performances in school for people, you know, like, don't take drugs, stay in school, and, you know, people hate you. But I did my first tour, one of them was with Sharon Rooney. So it's amazing to think that she's now in Barbie.
You've wasted your life, Forbes. Margot Robbie said she supports the Hollywood actor and writer strike. Janie, what are you thinking about that? Are you on their side then?
I saw all the photographs of the strikers, and see, to be honest, I think they're actors.
Very perceptive, Janie. What do you think about this then, Alison? We've got Margot Robbie, amongst many other actors, saying she supports the Hollywood actor and writer strike. Are you on their side?
I'm definitely on her side because I've been an extra before, and like it was the first time I've ever been in a tent where I got free food, and like yeah, you know, you'd be an extra and they just make you wait around and they give you a table of biscuits. And if I could have that job as a permanent job, I would do that forever.
You should go and see my gran. You'd love it.
I'll get a job as your gran. I love it. Yeah. Sit down on my lap here, Chris. You know.
Do you do any dentistry? That's all.
Mark, what about you? We're talking about Margot Robbie. She was getting criticised for having a strong Australian accent in interviews, which is her own accent. When have you been picked up for your accent?
You get on stage quite a lot. I was doing a gig in Manchester, which was 3 Scottish guys, and it was for Burns Night. But the audience hadn't been told it was for Burns Night. So the first Scottish comedian comes on, does well, and then the second Scottish comedian comes on, and people are a wee bit. And then I came on, and I just heard the guy at the back going, "Oh Christ, there's another one."
Margot Robbie is the right answer, and 2 points go to Chris and Janie. It's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. So I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
In many ways, they're quite stupid.
That's Nick Clegg there, describing everyone who talked him into forming that coalition with David Cameron. Fingers on buzzers, teams, and here we go. 89% of the nation did what this morning? Janie.
Tried to get a dental appointment.
Brilliant answer. 89% of the nation did what this morning? Mark.
Is it run outside because they see the binman coming and they haven't put the bin out, but then realise that they haven't fastened their dressing gown and their neighbour's phoning the police?
89% of the nation did what this morning? Alison.
A double take when looking in the mirror and saying, "Not you again."
89% of the nation did what this morning? Chris.
Woke up. I don't know how bad the mortality rate is, but...
That's the saddest blues songs I have ever heard in my life.
Didn't wake up this morning. End of song. Apparently, 89% of the nation had eggs for breakfast this morning, according to a survey.
In many ways, they're quite stupid.
Oh, there we are. That is our klaxon. Nick has Clegged. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Mark Nelson and Alison Spittle. And commiserations to runners-up Janie Godley and Chris Forbes. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. Meta's President of Global Affairs, Nick Clegg, this week said that current artificial intelligence models are quite stupid. A comment Clegg later regretted after the Facebook HR chatbot sent him his P45. A California man who was named the world's oldest bodybuilder in 2015 has had his title updated when he participated in a recent competition at the age of 90. He won't be allowed to compete again, though, as the body he's building has now been Grade 2 listed. And Rishi Sunak has apologised for the historical treatment of LGBT veterans who were sacked or forced out of the military for being gay. As well as the army veterans, Sunak also apologised to the construction worker, the cowboy, the biker and the Native American. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye!